Welcome back and thank you very much and welcome to the big issue here on TV3Newday. And thank you very much for joining us, and I'd like to say a big thank you to Grant Park Clothing and Nasuman for my outfit. Call him 020-985-5696. That's 020-985-5696. He'll make something special for you and yours. It's for the man going places and the man seeking to be contemporary enough. Well, the Daily Graphic this morning says election 2020 EC saved country $90 million, reduced voting time to 3 to 5 minutes. That's Jean Adukwe Mensah. She's the Electoral Commission's boss speaking there. Flag issues that derail democracy. President urges ECOWAS institutions, and 2,126 lives lost in road crashes according to the MTTD. Reconsider directive on Ghana card, organized labor, because you know that by the 1st of December, if you do not have your Ghana card and the details, you may not be getting paid if you're a public servant. Well, Tema Motorway Roundabout Phase 2, government secures 35.5 million Japanese grant for project, and BOST assures public of fuel safety. As you may be well aware, some contaminated fuel had been intercepted by BOST. Daily Guide. New judge for Collins Dowda, others in $200 million trial. The Saglemi project under the telescope, microscope. NDC incest guru in hot waters gets 30,000 Ghana cedis bail. I understand that there's a court hearing today. It's painful to lose elections, Nana confesses, and majority leader berates speaker over anti-gay bill. The Ghanaian Times. Coups d'etat in West Africa. ECOWAS reviews protocols according to President Akufo-Addo. An extraordinary session of ECOWAS Parliament opens in Winneba. Congrats to Afenyo King and his team there, working so hard, and it was so beautiful yesterday, I should say. An international day for disaster risk reduction. Major earthquake hitting Ghana hard. Country needs to build resilience. NADMO says so. On the back page, WFP presents GSFP with 300 digital tablets for school feeding monitoring system. GNGC, there will be no power outages during 2-week shutdown. And finally, the Business Finder. Venture into agribusiness exports. Seasoned experts urge fresh school graduates. Minister pushes for electronic verification of driver's licenses. And ADB has launched a payday plus for salaried workers. My guest this morning, lawyer Abraham Amalba. He is the head of the NDC's legal team. He's also a member of the communication team of the NDC. And joining me also is Kofi Amiao. He speaks for the NPP and is also a diplomat working from the UN office in New York. Gentlemen, welcome. Good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning, Johnny. You were on fire this morning.
Well, for good reason.
I know. I watched you.
I'm sure you've seen the children on the streets.
It breaks my heart when I see them. In fact, it breaks my heart when I see anybody on the street. So when I watched you, in fact, it touched my heart. It's unfortunate. As a matter of fact, when you look at our Constitution, the 1992 Constitution, Article 1, Clause 1, says the powers of government come from the people, and we must use that power given by the people to serve their interests.
That's right.
And then when you come to Article 36 of the 1992 Constitution, it also stipulates that the state must take all necessary steps to ensure that there's happiness, there's welfare, there's adequate employment for every Ghanaian. So when you see these individuals, especially as young as that, on the street begging, you ask yourself what is happening. I know government has a huge responsibility to ensure that we get them off the street and to make sure they go to school. I also believe that the parents also do have a responsibility to ensure that they do not send their children on the street. So for me, it's a collective responsibility. Some of us have come from a very poor home, but our parents did not put us on the streets. If they had, I don't think I'll be sitting on this huge platform and talking with a very fine lawyer like Lawyer Amaliba and your good self. So in as much as the government has a huge role to play, we, the parents as well, and even the citizens also do have a responsibility to ensure that we get these young ones out of the streets.
Counsel, you want to take a bite on it. Has your windshield been knocked on by any of these youngsters on the street demanding for money in traffic?
Several times. Indeed, I have said that those children are a keg of gunpowder waiting to explode. if we don't take care. Indeed, some of them, I'm told, have attacked motorists.
Yes.
You know, so it is not a child's play. I just think that, again, apart from what he has said, and I agree to most of the things he said, I want to commend him for accepting, as a government spokesperson, to say that government has a role to play. But beyond government is also the failure of our social networking system. In the past, as he indicated, that he came from a poor home, but he wasn't on the street. In the past, our culture would have indicated that, look, can an uncle pick this boy and take care of?
Right.
But now it's no longer the case. It's no longer the case also because of times are hard. And so the uncle already has 5 children. He can't bring in another person. So it's a whole gamut of issues. And I think the stakeholders must sit down to find a solution to it. But my main concern this morning is that petrol prices are going to increase by 7% in the next pricing window.
But you're getting MPA. MPA has appealed to the president to cut off some of the taxes so that for 2 months you get to enjoy some benefits. I mean, giving legislative empowerment of those ones. So,
yeah, we are told that will not take effect even this month.
Right, because Parliament is not sitting now.
Yeah, so in the meantime, I am talking about my current suffering. What you are talking about is in the future. And so if petrol prices are going to go up by 7% in the next pricing, that would be like Saturday. That should be a huge bother for me and most Ghanaians. But, well, country broke, country no broke, we're all the inside.
But the fuel just went up, Amaya.
And it's going up again.
From 350 to 6,520. Now it's going up again to what?
Johnny, the truth of the matter is that, not to make any excuse, globally, prices of fuel are going up. And where I live and work, I've seen it. The other day I was buying a liter for almost $4 in New York. Especially in New York, it's extremely expensive. Probably when you go to New Jersey, it's relatively better. We have a price build-up mechanism in this country where we regulate that regime. If the prices globally goes up, we also increase our prices here at the pump. It's extremely unfortunate, but I mean, it was a regulatory system that was even introduced by the NDC. But the irony is that whilst the prices go up, since we are also an oil-producing country, we also rake some revenue here and there. So it's more or less like robbing Peter to pay Paul. But just like you have, indicated, the National Petroleum Authority has written to the president to look at some of the tax components when it comes to the price buildup. And I think when Parliament resumes, it will be looked at, and Ghanaians will have some form of relief. It might not be so much, but at least it's a good step. It's a good attempt. It's a show of faith.
Why only 2 months, though? If you are helping me, help me properly.
In as much as we would want to...
Why are you helping me briefly?
The truth of the matter is that we need those income. We need those money to also do other things. I live in the East Legon Hills area, and I see my streets. It's not the best. We want government to fix it. We have certain social amenities that we want government to tackle. Workers are demanding an increase in their payments. It all comes from the consolidated funds. These are the money that goes into the kitchen. So if you are talking about this relief, we should also be mindful of the fact that this is the money we need to be able to take care of ourselves as a people. And when you talk of a government that is very responsive when it comes to the plight of Ghanaians in circumstances such as these, the Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo government is very, very up there, because we all remember when the COVID-19 pandemic hit us, there were steps that were taken to ensure that we mitigate the suffering.
Some have still not gotten their stimulus packages. They still have only text messages assuring them that their money will come.
I understand. But
since 2020.
I understand, but majority of these applicants have received their money. Even in the media, I'm aware of that with the stimulus package that came. So the point I want to...
The media were giving stimulus packages?
Yeah, it came with the care money, I think 700 million money.
And given to who?
Those in the media.
Which media?
Yeah.
They gave it to us.
Yes.
Me?
You are not you, but the media as in the company. So the truth of the matter is that times are really hard. I appreciate that. In fact, everywhere. I don't want to cite the example of other jurisdictions, but to the extent that when you go to certain restaurants, it's written there that because of the price of the market, they've increased the price of certain, especially the smoothies and the groceries. They've increased them. I used to buy a pound of tuna salad for $11.63, and when you add taxes to it, it comes to about $13. In about a week or two, when I was about coming, it was about $16. So things are really hard. So I'm happy that the MPA has written to the president to look at some of the components or the elements of the price build-up in terms of the tax, so that something can be done. It might not be so much, but I think it's something.
So pay the workers well then?
It's all about money. We are asking government to take away money and at the same time government to pay more. It's the same money. We don't have any money stashed somewhere. It's just tax revenue that we take from the.
I hear you.
That is why that comparison of another country where you come from is baseless, because the salary levels there, salary levels there are higher than what the salaries are received here, and so.
But the cost of living is also high.
If you then say that, oh, because it's happening there, it's okay to happen here. Mahama was called a wicked person when fuel prices were going up. Today,
by who?
By who? You've lived long outside, that's why. So you think that today, if prices are going up, we shouldn't say it's the government's mismanagement. It is also about the exchange rate. You know, fuel prices also, one of the components is the exchange rate. And so if you don't manage your economy where your exchange rate goes up, it will have an effect on the prices. So we are just saying that the dose that you gave us to swallow, that bitter pill, you must also swallow it, and you must ensure that things improve. That's all that we are saying.
Okay, let's go and talk about Agyapa. We'll listen to the CSOs who had raised concerns about the Agyapa Royalties deal. The finance minister has served notice that, well, it's coming back after he had inaugurated the board of the MIIF. Also, the minority in parliament are saying that, well, they will kick against it because in its present form and how much we're going to rake in as a country, they don't think it is the best. So first, let's listen to Mr. Edem Senanu, who is leading the pack of CSOs, the civil society organizations, who are asking questions about the Agyapa Royalties deal. When we're done, we'll listen to Kesel Atuforsing, former Deputy Minister of Finance and spokesperson of Finance on the minority side, and a ranking member as well. And then we'll come to the studio and have that conversation.
Ideally, that should be the case, that all the key stakeholders are brought on board so that one can structure something that we all understand. Key aspect of it is simply the assumptions. What are the assumptions that have informed why we are saying this is the value we are giving, and what the structuring as well. So between the assumptions and the structuring plus management, if you don't bring the key stakeholders on board to understand what it is, the likelihood is that you face the same stiff opposition. So let's see what they have. But I would have preferred a situation where, in deciding what they are bringing back to the table, all the key stakeholders had been on board so that we are sure that it can go through. But the minister says they've done their homework. Whether the homework is simply the fact that they've looked at the questions that were raised previously and addressed them, or it is that we've taken that on board and invited the stakeholders, which is what would have been the preferred situation, is something that we don't know. It's going to be difficult to pass it this time if they've not addressed the key issues. And I anticipate that the key stakeholders for the extractives will really be keen on having a say.
Currently, the government is saying the valuation is $1 billion, and they are selling 49% out there to get about $500 billion. We are saying that is grossly undervalued, and that will mean that government of Ghana has given taxpayers money of about $1.3 billion away. We will not accept any valuation that is going to be under $3.7 billion that we are not going to accept. For government of Ghana to incorporate a Ghana's sovereign wealth fund in a tax haven, Jay-Z, we will not accept that because we are aware of its consequences and the fact that a lot of the activities in tax havens are not in a transparent manner. Currently, the world is debating and talking about the Pandora box, and we know what it means. And we've heard so much about it, how people are hiding assets and not paying taxes. I'm surprised that the government of Ghana, a sovereign country like ours, will surrender the country's sovereign wealth fund into a tax haven institution.
The minority is concerned. Government is adamant in properly repackaging the new royalties deal to reflect concerns of the public and civil society. Consequently, the revised structure can face hurdles if not adequately tweaked.
Any attempt to take tomorrow's revenue for today's expenditure will mean that government is not thinking about tomorrow and they are not smoothing their consumption. We are going to oppose any attempt for government to do that. And let me say this, the NDC minority and the NDC party have resolved that we will oppose Agyapa anytime, any day, if any of the things that I've talked about are not addressed. And that is important that we discuss, we'll make it clear.
That was Edem Senanu. He's with the Citizens Movement Against Corruption, and he's leading a pack of CSOs. And also Mr. Dr. Kesela Tuforsen, who is a spokesperson on finance for the NDC, and also is a former Deputy Minister for Finance. Let me start this conversation with you, Kofi, and ask you the first question, whether or not this renewed or repackaged Agyapa deal has answered all the concerns that were raised in the corruption risk assessment by Martin Amidu, the CSOs, and the questions that even the NDC raised as well. Has it been dealt with effectively?
I think what is critical and integral in this conversation is the fact that the government intends to monetize our mineral resources to ensure that it brings development to the people. We have been in this business for a very long time, for over a century. And when you go to these mineral communities or these mining communities, they are even worse off. So it is the intention of this government to ensure that we get the necessary revenue out of what we have as a people so that really we can develop this country. We have so much in terms of demand from the people, and in terms of supply, it's very limited. And the only way we can meet that demand is when we are able to harness our resources in a way and in a manner that will bring relief and betterment to the people. With this Agyapa, I think this government has been extremely transparent and wants everybody on board. Initially, when we bought it, that was latter part of last year, there were a lot of CSOs and individuals who were opposed as in its form. And the president, for that matter, decided that, okay, let's put the brakes on it, let's come back later. And I think when you listen to the finance minister, he's extremely clear that all the consultation that needs to be done will be done. Whoever needs to be talked to will be talked to. Whoever needs to be seen will be seen. And then when Parliament returns, it will be sent back to Parliament, just like before, just that they were not able to reach some form of consensus on it. And I want to say that Honorable Kesela Tuforsen should just pull the brakes a little bit, because he did mention that, if a government intends to use its resources to get money that needs to have had tomorrow, and then you want it today, it means
that you're not thinking about the future.
I think it's extremely unfair for him to make that statement.
Why do you
because
say so?
His administration, when he was even a minister, we monetized even our oil resource, and we took loan from the CBD bank, from CBD from China, and that's what we use for our trouble gas. Today we have Ghana gas as a result of monetizing our oil. Are you saying that Ghana gas is not really doing well? Now we have, when you come down to the downstream industry of the petroleum, Ghana gas is one of the best downstream industries in Ghana right now, because we monetize our oil. We always monetize our cocoa, go for the syndicate loans, so that at the end of the day, we can improve the lot of the farmers. So making sure we monetize our resources is not a new thing. to Ghanaians. So clearly, I believe strongly that when Parliament returns, all the necessary concerns that were raised will be addressed. Then at the end of the day, we'll be able to get what we need to have.
There were concerns about in Martin Amidu's corruption risk assessment, which he did on his own volition, which would set the basis for the withdrawal of the deal in Parliament. Because mind you, the MIF law on which the transaction advisors had stood on to give us the green light to go ahead and sign. Mr. Amidu had indicated in his corruption risk assessment that had not received presidential assent at the time. So your transaction advisor, who is supposed to help you to skip the legal ditch, is now the one who effectively leads you into that. All of these matters would necessitate the withdrawal of it because there were a lot of questions that were being asked. Now, there are demands that if the transaction risk advisors were supposed to advise you in a certain way, guided you legally, you pay counsel to advise you, he's supposed to advise you well. If he doesn't, he has to refund the monies because there's been no work done. Has that been done?
Well, again, like I said, these issues will be addressed and when Parliament returns. What we need to look at as a people is that will this translate into development? Will this improve the livelihood of Ghanaians, especially those living in the mining communities? I think that should be the focus. And the focus also should be the processes leading to the agreement and all of that. And I am saying that we as a government realize, okay, we need to do more. So we pull the brakes. Now we are coming back. And I am very positive that when they return to Parliament, all these things, all these stones will be addressed. And then at the end of the day, it will be brought back to the good people of this country.
This tone sounds conciliatory because if you look at the earlier tone that was talking about an aggregate of 80 years experience. You remember that argument that was made? Yes. 80 years experience and that you know better and all of that. This tone sounds totally different. So would you say the minority was right in the first place when they started raising the questions with the CSOs?
To the extent that we had to pull the brakes, I think there was some form of credibility to their concern. In any case, the minority represents Ghanaians. So when they are making the argument, it's not always the case that when they make an argument or when they raise issues, it has to be relegated to the background. We have to listen. Even if they are wrong, we must listen. And I think we have listened to them as a government, and we are coming back to them, and we will do all the necessary consultations because the bottom line is that for over 100 years, our mining activities have not given us the best. And we need to have a different view. We need to think outside the box. We need to take a different, approach to it. The NDC tried it. Unfortunately, it wasn't successful. We promised the good people of this country, and they gave us the mandate. And we want to, deliver on that particular promise. But yet, there are some concerns that were raised, and we are saying that we are coming back again because we still believe that we need to get what we need to get from our minerals to be able to bring development to the people. So yes, I wouldn't say that they were entirely right, but they had some concerns that were looked into, and we want to come back to them so that we can reach a consensus and develop the country together, because we can't do it alone.
Dr. Forson insists that you are giving off these resources at a lower rate, that there's more that you could bring to the country if you really want to monetize this. Do you share that view? Of
course, we want to maximize all the resources we have to its full potential. And if he thinks we can do more, he will go to Parliament, they will discuss it, he will tell the people, he will tell the advisors the best way to get the full revenue that needs to be gotten. So yes, I would want the thing again to go to Parliament so that each side of the aisle will be able to bring their debate out. Then at the end of the day, the Ghanaian will benefit from it. I don't think it will be a contest of ideas. It will be a consensus rich so that indeed, like I said, we need to regularize, we need to ensure we think outside the box, we need to have a different approach to making sure that at the end of the day, we get something from our revenue. When you look at what others have done, when you go to South Africa and look at their mining communities and what they have done with their resources, it's beautiful. We haven't been able to do that, and I think it's about time we changed that particular approach. And this government is focused on that. And again, we are committed and we are ready to be as transparent as possible, to solicit all ideas as possible, so that...
Those issues, where this tone is different, as I said, because all the issues of transparency, the offshore accounts into which they will be saved and all of that were raised. But the government still went ahead to, and even said that, I remember vividly, key government ministers arguing that this went to Parliament and all of that. But that was when you had 169 seats. Are you sounding this way because now it is 137, 137?
I am sounding this way because...
Not you, Mayor. I'm saying the government. Is the government sounding this way because now you don't have the benefit of 169 seats?
Not at all.
You're trying to play ball.
Not at all. The Constitution of Ghana, Chapter 1, Article 1, Clause 1. The sovereignty of Ghana resides in the people of Ghana, in whose name and for whose welfare the powers of government are to be exercised in the manner and within the limits laid down in this Constitution. We believe in this part of the Constitution. We believe in every letter of it. The sovereignty resides in the people. And when they make a decision, when they say something, we must listen.
The NDC walked out the first time. You didn't listen to them. They are reps of the people. They walked out. You went ahead to pass it.
The people have given us another mandate that go back.
But I'm saying they walked out in the first place. You saw them walk out. You didn't mind them. You went ahead to do what you wanted to do.
No, we didn't go ahead.
You paid transaction advisors. You allowed Deputy Finance Minister Charles Dubois, as Martin Amidus found in his corruption rate assessment, to do the work of the Chief Director, which authority he did not have. The MIF and the Financial Regulations Act was breached, as was found out. All those issues were there. The minority kept raising those questions, but because you had the numbers, you didn't listen to them.
No, it's not because we had the numbers, and it wasn't because we just wanted to push our agenda through. We thought it was good for the people, and now we are going back again, and we still believe that idea, that intent is still there. It hasn't changed.
Okay.
We believe that we have to think outside the box and, you know, make sure we optimize our resources to the benefit of every Ghanaian.
I hear you. Council, step in for me. So your side, is your side just being difficult? Because if you listen to Dr. Atufo, he seems to be saying that, look, even though the deal has been repackaged, it's been bought, he said he will not accept it until all your demands are met. Are you just being difficult or you're being patriotic?
Well, it is important to state that the minority's role is to ensure that it keeps the government on its toes and ensure that government does what is right for the people. Now, you remember, and I'm happy you touched on Martin Amidu's corruption risk assessment report. You remember that in that report, a lot of malfeasance was flagged, you know. Indeed, in that report, we were told that the Attorney General then, Gloria Akufu, kicked against the arrangement, you know. But they still went ahead and tried to push it and try to ensure that it becomes what they want. Apart from that, you would notice that the reason why the minority, and for that matter the NDC, is opposed to the repackaged deal is because most of the things that were raised in the earlier one have not been addressed. For instance, the issue of this investing in JC, tax haven, was an issue that the minority raised. And indeed, you know, African Union taxed Thabo Mbeki, the former African president, to come out with a report on investment in tax havens. And the report was damning and said that the African leaders use the tax havens to conceal or steal resources from the countries of origin. And so the advice to the African Union, which the African Union adopted, was that African countries should desist from investing in tax havens. Now you have an African country, which is Ghana. Chinchina, it is tax haven they must invest in. What is it that the finance minister is so obsessed with investing in a tax haven? That's the question.
Is it about the finance minister?
But he's leading all this charge.
He's doing it on behalf of the government.
Yes. So I have said the finance minister, if you want to now extend it to the government and to the president, I'm all out for it. I agree with you, the president.
I'm not. I'm asking questions. Don't heap it on my head, I beg you.
Now, look, we have a tax treaty with the UK. So these tax exemptions that we would benefit as a claim from the JC investment would have still accrued to us, even if we didn't invest in JC, but invested in, say, Maryland or invested in, say, Manchester. So why? So there must be something that is making them saying that we are going to JC.
Data Bank is not part of the deal anymore, I hear.
Oh, why? But their hands are bent, so why would they? The next issue has to do with the value of the deal. The deal, from the valuation, is going to cost us 1 billion or so. And that's why you asked him. From our side, we are capable of getting 3.7 billion. How come that they are devaluing the entire bill to 1 billion? Is it that somebody will have to take a kickback? And that's why it has come to the 1 billion. So the whole deal is shrouded in some secrecy. They are not open. They don't want to open up and tell the people of this country, particularly the minority who are representatives of the people. You don't want to open up to them and let them partake and even advise you on how to go about it.
They say now they will. Amayao said they will.
No, but there's a repackaged one. No, Amayao, Amayao is one of the moderates, and that's why you are shocked at this U10. Bring one of the hawkish people here. Bring that guy.
Come on, don't do that.
Miracle.
So let's be fair to him. He's not here to defend himself.
Now I'm saying that he's a moderate. But you don't want me to say you are a moderate.
You are patronizing me.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying that some of your people have been here and they have defended this rot. So
there's no rot.
There's a rot.
Allow him. You have your rebuttal. Sorry.
There's a rot.
Okay.
So until all the issues are addressed, the opposition cannot just say that we are giving you a clean bill of health, because the work of the opposition is to ensure that. And your question was, are we being difficult? We are not difficult. We just want the right things done, and we'll continue insisting the right things are done. You remember the first one? I don't know whether that is now taken off. There was a Safo Mafo's son who was supposed to be the managing director for life. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that? Oh my God.
The transaction advisors, should they refund the monies because we paid them for somebody say no work done? Should they refund the monies because you are a lawyer and I'm happy about you being here? That if I contract you to help me do a deal and advise me, and it turns out that the deal was botched, we situated the deal based on a law that does not exist, because even though Parliament had passed it, the President had not assented to it, and it came to light per a corruption risk assessment by the President's own special prosecutor at the time that this had not happened. Then the question comes, should the transaction advisors refund the monies that were paid for no work done?
If the advice given turned out to be wrong advice and you relied on it, and it turned out that you have lost, or the deal didn't go through, then I'm of the view that they have to refund, because they give you wrong advice which you relied on, and it turned out that you didn't benefit from the advice. But if it was an advice which was given in good faith and represented the facts, but somehow going further, the challenges you face were independent of the advice, then I would say that no refund. So we need to now look into the advice that was given. Kind of advice that was given. Was it a reckless one? Was it a misrepresentation? Was it fraudulent? All those factors will come into play, because fraud vitiates all. And so because this is a broad discussion, but if we are going to zero in on the advice, we will now look at it from these angles, where you look at it, whether it was misrepresentation, it was fraudulent, it was procured, out of some influence. So all those things would come into the decision whether they must refund or they shouldn't refund. So for me,
in principle, does the minority agree that we need to monetize our gold resources in principle?
And that is what you heard the minority spokesperson on finance said. that we are even against, using future resources meant for future generations just to consume them today. We need to see whether that is a sustainable thing to do. What then happens? Because it's not like the resources as we have it now don't bring in income. They bring in income. But these people are saying that it is too little, it is trickling in, it's not small, it's more. So by engaging in what they are saying, it means that we are trying to mortgage future resources meant for the future for current consumption. That one is a problem. And so these are some of all the things that we need to sit down and decide whether that amounts to sustainable development. Because for sustainable development, it's not just about today. It's about the future too. And so would you want to mortgage future resources meant for the future and the future generation for today? These are questions that we need to ask.
See, I mean, the broad conversation is that this is being done for the good of the entire Ghanaian people. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Now, Martin Amidu raises concern about elite capture and says that this will go to the benefit largely of just a few people.
That's not true.
And then he places at the bottom of it the allegation of corruption and says that even though the president had reposed confidence in him, and the president, even at the time he was leaving office, Mr. Martin Amidu was leaving office, said he doesn't regret ever giving Martin Amidu the chance to become special prosecutor. Martin Amidu believes that the president has not shown will to fight corruption now or in the future.
Because of Agyapa.
Well, but he put it in his corruption risk assessment. And he says, based on A, B, C, and D, all the infractions and the things, he doesn't see the willingness to fight corruption now and in the future.
Martin was wrong. Very wrong.
Was he?
Yes, extremely wrong.
Demonstrated.
One, because fighting corruption is just not about lip service. It's about making sure you resource the institutions that fight corruption. This government, the president, has done so.
Which institution?
Oh, the Auditor General's department.
Okay.
In fact, to the extent that the former Auditor General admitted that there hasn't been any government that has resourced the department just like the president has done.
But the OSP's office was not properly set up.
No.
And Mr. Kese Jabin has said it
coming.
recently.
No, and I'm coming. It is this government, the same very person he was accusing for not having the will to fight corruption, instituted this office of the special prosecutor and asked him to man it. And he failed. He couldn't.
And Mr. Kese Jabin said the office was not set up. There were so many things that were not there. In his recent interview, so many things that were not there.
I've sat on this particular platform, this very one, and we've gone through this, Martin Amidu and the office of the special prosecutor thing. I don't want us to go back. We know the willingness of the government to resource his office and his inability to do it.
And I'm saying the man you just put there, Mr. Kese Jabin, also in a recent interview sometime last week or the week before, had said that when he got there, he was shocked to know that the office was not properly set up.
By Martin Amidu, not the government.
And resources were lacking.
No. Once the government was able to send it, the whole process is leading to the establishment of the office to Parliament, and, we have Martin Amidu. The rest was on Martin Amidu to deliver, not the government. And the government was also ready and willing to resource his office. Unfortunately, he failed us. And again, I want to establish that, no, his risk assessment doesn't necessarily translate into the fact that, the president is not willing to fight corruption. The president has demonstrated that he's willing to fight corruption. There were certain comments that were made by lawyer Maliban, and I think it needs to be addressed. The reason for going into a country that do have a tax haven or a tax haven is the fact that you want to, as much as possible, pay less tax in a regime that is acceptable and legal. And that is why we sent Agyapa there. It was because, indeed, like I said, optimize the minerals available to us and ensure that we pay less tax. That's why we went to the tax haven. Of course, there might be some few challenges, but there are other companies and even countries that are in the tax haven that are doing very well there. Now, he said that the NDC thinks that more can be gotten from
out of
that. But they had the opportunity to do so, and they couldn't even give us $1 out of that. They had the opportunity, they even attempted it, and they even failed. But let me read something to you that the finance minister said yesterday when he was inaugurating the
MIF.
Yes. He said that they must take all necessary attempts to address and overcome all the concerns against the Agyapa transaction, so we can go to the market and create the first mineral royalty company in Ghana and in Africa, because it is good for Ghana. So this government, in spite of everything that has been said today and even before, is saying that the board must take all necessary steps so that they will address all concerns that were raised. So as a government, we are willing and ready to address the concerns on the tax haven component, to address the concern as to whether we can get more from the deal, to address the concern whether enterprise or data bank or Stanbic or the finance minister deputy or the minister of state in charge of finance, all these people should be involved or not. The board will go to parliament and all these concerns will be raised. And at the end of the day, just like I've repeated, we want it to benefit the good people of this country. And I think when it comes to parliament and we look at the attitude, then we can be able to conclude whether indeed the NDC is trying to be difficult or indeed they want this country to develop. And I am very sure that they are just trying to be difficult. They are just trying
on
to
the elite capture, you see, elite capture is very important. And the earlier one was the son of Osafo Mafo. Now I'm told that the one who will be the CEO of MI, the fund, I think they have appointed somebody. Is it Edwin something? Donko. Yes. Check his background. This is somebody whose father is connected to, and that's the elite capture, is connected to the president.
Is he qualified?
And this, you talked about elite capture.
Right.
And the elite capture is where you give positions, juicy positions such as this, to people whose connection to the administration is so strong. And so it is not about qualification. It is about
delivery.
It is about whether or not the deal as structured benefits the elite in government. And this is an example of it.
Okay.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
You see, when you talk of elite capture and that will benefit the elite, I am confused.
Well, Masanabidi was clear in his mind what he was talking about. The fact that he says this was going into the hands of a few.
Yeah. And then I'm telling you, Martin was wrong.
Why is it wrong? How is it wrong when the son, when the chief executive?
No, you need to understand. Listen, was
the chief executive.
Listen.
Is that not a elite capture?
You need to understand. Are they qualified? Would they be able to deliver?
Are they the only people
when
who are qualified?
When they deliver, who will benefit? At the end
the
of
only
the day?
people who are qualified?
No. So, okay, so get somebody else to us. And I'm saying that the NDC...
Advertise it.
The NDC had a very fine opportunity to do this, and you failed.
We didn't fail anything.
You failed.
We didn't do anything.
So why didn't you do it?
There was nothing of that nature on our table.
Jesus Christ.
Stop that.
Johnny, was it not...
why can't the positions be advertised for people who are also qualified?
These positions...
And people who have interest to come forward to say, I want to be part of it. I want to also bring my expertise and experience.
So that somebody who is poor like you from a poor background could also apply.
So that the nation can benefit and others can also benefit.
But who is the appointer? Who has the mandate?
How was the consortium formed, for example? Did we cast our nets wide?
We have given the country to be governed by the president, the executive. And it is our belief that whatever decision he will take will inure to the benefit of every Ghanaian. So let's give him that benefit of the doubt. I am saying that at the end of the day, will their activities, their management, and whatever they will do there benefit all Ghanaians. And yes, I am extremely optimistic because we've been accused of family and friends.
Right.
And when you look at the delivery, the results has been spectacular. Looking at the promise, when we promise
in the Agyapa,
not just the Agyapa, we are looking at the.
No, we are discussing Agyapa. So let's focus on
Agyapa. We are discussing how our actions and inactions will benefit Ghanaians.
No, you are trying to spread it.
No, I'm not trying to spread it.
We're discussing Agyapa and
I have made the point.
and corruption and how much we can get from it.
The deal is to ensure that Ghanaians benefit.
Okay.
The deal is to ensure that we develop. We are not just going to take the money and just use it for only gold or mineral purposes. It will be used for other things like construction or building of hospitals. It will be used for construction of roads and other stuff.
Which hospital have you built?
So you're also spreading the matter.
You see,
Which hospital have you built?
it has to be
Which secondary school have you built?
It has to be clear.
Which secondary school have you built?
This government, regardless of who is at where, is delivering. Is making sure that whatever will benefit Ghanaians is what we are doing. You might not agree with us all the time. That's understandable.
But you have built hospitals and schools.
Yeah, we have, and we have completed same.
Okay.
Started by the previous administration and operationalized them, and they are working to the benefit of the people.
I hear you.
Yes,
I like your confidence.
Yeah.
No,
there are confident tricksters. They are also there.
Please.
I'm not saying he's one. I said they are there in the society. When you meet them, you believe what they are saying.
But the truth of the matter is that Ghanaians believed in the fact that when we promised, we delivered. And that's why they gave us the mandate again. And that's why I'm extremely sure that they will give us another mandate to break the 8.
Okay.
Yes.
I see.
Yes.
With the help of a rigging...
we never rigged the elections.
With the help of a rigging...
We won hands down. You went to the court and...
Who is lying all over? Let's go to her.
Now you decide what we are going to discuss.
Let's read some messages, please.
We won't go to her.
No, we won't go to her. I beg you. We won't talk about electoral commission this morning. My focus is Agyapa this morning. A few messages that you have sent to us. And it says, good morning, TV3. Please help newly trained teachers who are about to complete their mandatory national service to tell the NPP government that they should start preparing to post them. If not, Awimbisa from Upper East. Well, I know that some of you have told me that the portal was opened very early last year, but you aren't seeing same this year. Another says, John Hughes with an exclamation mark. God will bless you. You really face facts. It's obvious that these street children will become thugs in the near future, and that's my fear and concern. And we all need to wake up and smell the coffee. Good morning, Johnny, and to your guests, especially Mr. Malba. This NPP government has borrowed a lot to expand the economy, but it's the other way around because they only borrow for consumption. Was that the better managers of the economy that they were that they taunted? JM BJM hashtag Francis from Commander. President Akufo-Addo's government is not transparent to Ghanaians and the most corrupt in our history. Ghanaians with integrity now know the difference between NPP and NDC. From Osman Bukri Sang in Tamale. AU Farouk in Tamale North says, good morning. In fact, the EC chairperson, Jimensa, she is the worst EC chair Ghana has ever had. How can she describe the 2020 elections as a peaceful one in the history of Ghana when elections cost the lives of innocent citizens? No wonder she was appointed to well, I don't know if she was appointed to dance to the tune of anybody. Good morning, TV3. The NPP has nothing to offer us again. We're sick and tired of their lies. We're just waiting patiently for 2024 to kick them out of the Jubilee House. Ismail Orhoya Ali. Wow, I've been waiting for some media group to bring these issues up. Begging business. Is it because Ghana always goes begging? Thanks, TV3. I don't know what the correlation is, but it's a dangerous phenomenon. Good morning. I'm Flexible General. We don't really care about the future of our children in Ghana because our leaders are not helping us in this country. I see Ghana becoming like Guinea someday if our leaders don't wake up from where they are, but rather keep talking about no Ghana card, no salary. Johnny, I beg, what have you also done about what you're talking about? Sunny Bimo. Well, as a journalist, my job is simple. If there is no public opinion, we help to shape and form public opinion. If there's public opinion and it's scattered, we help to bring it to the center. And if there's public opinion and it's pointed, we publish it. It is somebody's job, paid with the taxpayers' money, to ensure that the children are not on the streets. We can only highlight it and bring it to their attention and talk about issues with facts and figures. And as I always say, if you have contrary facts and figures, bring it. So what have I done about it? What has the media done about it? We have brought it to the fore. Let those who have ears and those who have the duty of care do the needful. Thank you. Good morning, Johnny. So sorry to say, but we're taking this girl child so serious and we are sidelining the boy child. But we should be careful because it will come to a point that boys will feel like we are of ourselves because everybody is concentrating on the girl child and women, and we're doing this in the name of gender parity, which is dangerous in the future. Message from the poets. Another day, and we're grateful for your life. Johnny, may the Almighty keep you safe always. I came across a video documentary of how people break into moving cars in traffic in broad daylight and bolt away with anything valuable they get in South Africa. I think it's worrying to me for a fact that I see Ghana just at that point. Now, these young beggars are seen as supposed breadwinners for their families. And are we sure that their trade would fetch them enough for them not to turn at us and do whatever they can to survive on the streets? These foreign nationals are all over. They are massing up in Bolga here too, and it's nauseating sometimes, intriguing, but it's obvious our leaders, as they have all the goodies and flashy stuff, don't care about the ordinary, and it's worrying. Kwabena Phil. Hello, Johnny. I'm happy that this issue about child beggars is coming up. I had an encounter with one 2 years ago. It was shocking to learn that these adults are not their biological parents. They actually bring them in to raise funds for their families outside their country. The adults with them are their agents or contractors. This issue needs urgent attention. National security. Good morning to you. Good morning, Johnny. Please, there's a disconnect between school feeding program and nutrition. The cooks have no idea about nutrition and its impact on students. All what they care about is to cook the food, and sometimes you wouldn't like to look at the food, not to even think of tasting. Mohammed Isifu Abendao in God. So good morning, Johnny. I went as a worker of Ghana Water Company yesterday, struggling with an old man for disconnection, to disconnect his pipe. I decided to get closer, and it was just sad. The issue was about this old man paid the Hohoi Ghana Water Company so he can be contracted. They came with the workers' materials to do the connection. After the connection, the old man realized that the meter reads even if the tap is closed. So he reported to the office. They came and found out that it's a leakage before the meter, but the problem hadn't stopped. So according to the old man, he went to them again, and this time they found out after the meter was a heavy leakage again. Well, okay, we'll look into this matter. Thank you very much. I think the NPP government doesn't care about the welfare of Ghanaians, but only care about themselves. Due to this, they have turned themselves into bed bugs, feeding on Ghanaians' blood and growing fat while Ghanaians are growing leaner. They are in government to amass wealth. So the Agyapa deal is said to do just that. Mohammed Sadiq in Tamale. Good morning, Johnny. Please, what's the meaning of Agyapa? Why don't they use a simple English title or name for everyone to understand? Jacob in Amasaman. And I'm always shocked when certain youth of Ghana demonstrate obvious lies with reckless abandon just because of politics. Mr. Ayu Amel is supporting a Agyapa deal because obviously the deal feeds him and his family. Oh, really? Certain useful people in politics need divine slaps, you say, so their minds can be reprogrammed. Bright in the fella. That's unfortunate though. But I mean, I've heard this argument being raised on so many other quarters. They're saying that, look, every great initiative that's come up seems to have, and not to sound tribalistic or be a bigot, but seems to have some Akanized version. So there's Obatam Parkers, there's Agyapa deal, there's Ejumapa budget, there's Asempa budget, there's Impuntu budget, and there are people asking questions. I think that, well, it's not altogether important, but people are beginning to ask questions. Must we name everything?
I haven't really paid attention
Yes.
to that. Once you brought it up, I think when I have the opportunity to meet...
You ask why it is so, yes.
Not ask, if they can change
They can look at it, yeah.
I mean, you can recall when the president was addressing the nation, he used to be just English.
I raised that question here. I was insulted. Later, they adopted it.
Yeah,
We will continue to do our work.
So I think it's a concern that will be looked into.
Right, your closing thoughts.
See, I told you he's a moderate, and you see how he has worked on answering your question.
So
How do you want him
I was waiting for the wrong answer, and I'll take him on. But you see, he has disarmed me, and I can't say anything.
Yes. He said he worked at it.
Look at it.
Yes, look at it. But I think it's a genuine concern. It's a genuine concern because if it's supposed to rally everybody around the flag, a bit of Ever here, a bit of Mampusi here, yes,
So I just want to say that we should be rest assured, especially when it comes to this administration. I have dealt with the president, personally in a room, and I can feel his passion and see his passion.
Be careful, oh. These days you have dealt with the president personally.
No, I mean, as in terms of
be careful because
official,
these days.
Thank you. Oh, I understand.
Yes.
Official.
Be careful.
When he recently came to me,
But when they are side is supporting it.
we are never supporting it. Our point is clear. The president has made that point clear. So it will never happen.
It's happening. The man said that it's bound to happen.
Allow him to have
So
exclusive.
for me, we should look at this Agyapa deal as one that will benefit everybody.
Right.
When the money comes to us, people who are saying that it's an elite capture, it will benefit some family and friends. No, there's no money that comes to us that goes to an individual or even a ministry. It comes to the finance ministry. Then Parliament will decide how we spend our money.
Okay.
So we should be rest assured this, propaganda here and there is going to benefit. And I know it's being engineered by the NDC, which is extremely unfortunate.
Oh, okay.
They want to make it appear though that some individuals are just going to be the beneficiaries. No, it's going to benefit Ghanaians.
Everybody.
We have Agenda 111, and we need money too. We can always rely on the West to finance our project and to finance our budget.
Okay.
We also need to start doing some of these things to be able to have money to develop ourselves.
Council.
You see, if all this financial engineering were bringing in something, then we will say that, they are on the right path. PDS, disaster. You get it? So when people are afraid of what is going to happen in Japan, it's because they have a history of what has happened in PDS. But I also think...
But it was the same government that pulled the plugs on PDS.
Oh, but PDS, we all said that the
Who
people...
brought PDS? You brought PDS.
What PDS?
You brought PDS.
We established PDS.
You did.
Stop that. Stop that.
No,
people are laughing
come
at
on.
you. Now, the issue is that if you have a government that thinks about itself first, and it is epitomized in the way the president behaves, he's always flying luxurious flights. When people are complaining that times are hard,
travel
luxuriously,
He's not supposed to
see the
travel.
president, the way he flies in the air is the same the way he drives on the road. You see that the number of cars that follow him, 60 cars just to go, and then
60?
60 sometimes,
Oh,
60.
wow.
Oh, you've not seen it before. Sometimes just to go and inaugurate a toilet
But
facility.
people also have their own V8s that they follow the president with their convoy.
Who is that?
They pay themselves.
Anyway,
The conduct of the government is what is making people feel that they don't trust what Agyapa will bring. It's their own conduct. So it's their own conduct that is giving them out. And so they should pull a break on this.
I hear you. Abraham Amaliba is the head of the NDC's legal team. He's also a member of the National Communications team of the NDC. And Mr. Mayor, Kofi Amaya, is a member of the NPP's National Communications team. He's also a diplomat with our New York office out there serving the nation. Well, thank you very much for coming, Kofi. Always a pleasure to see you. And a few messages personally sent to me. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Council. I wish you well. I wish you well. I wish you well. Are you going to court today?
I'm not conducting a case,
Yes.
but I'm just going to court to support my chairman.
I wish you
Oh,
well.
today we have the regional annual delegates conference of the NPP.
Okay.
Here, Greater Accra. The NATWA.
Okay,
I'll
not
be
for
going
Accra.
there, yes.
Okay, oh yeah, you're going
Johnny.
there, yes.
One of my
So
mentors,
Divine and
I'll go, yeah.
one of my political mentors, celebrated his 70th birthday yesterday.
okay.
No less a person than Professor Kwame Nahoy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
A good
70th.
prof.
I know he's a colossus.
Yes.
He helped the development of this country.
Local governance
So,
and all
yes.
of that, yes.
Happy birthday,
Happy
Prof.
birthday, Prof, and live long. Prof Nyincher. And good morning, sir. I enjoyed this morning. The streetism problem is even a security threat to this nation. Thank you for speaking about it. Alhaji Hamza in Pig Farm says, my very good friend, keep on talking about government bringing development to the doorsteps of the people. The question is, Kofi should not forget that his government has borrowed a lot but has nothing to show. Kofi also speaks about the Ghana gas built by them. Johnny, trust me, Kofi dare not speak this way in America when the concerns of Americans are being addressed. Indeed, talk is cheap. Good morning, Johnny. Why are we so interested in handing over our resources to foreigners? From Anefi in Tamale Central constituency. Finally, Prince Henry in Koforidua says, what at all is a Agyapa deal that the NPP government of Akufo-Addo can't forego it? I mean, the minority MPs will scrutinize the deal again when it comes to Parliament and possibly reject it if the need arises. The corruption scandal under the NPP government led by Nanado and Dr. Bawumia is becoming unbecoming. Hashtag TV3Newday. And you say good morning to Mago, Elikem Kotoko, and Fifi Kwete. Thank you to Grandpa Clothing for my outfit. They are in Dansoman here in Accra, but they deliver across the world. 020-985-5696. Again, 020-985-5696. There's more conversation here on New Day, but this has been the big issue.